The Egyptian Parliament has given its final approval to the amended capital market law. The announcement was made by the Investment and International Cooperation Ministry. The amended law introduces new financial instruments and empowers the non-banking financial sector, such as sukuks or Islamic bonds. It also protects the rights of minority stakeholders in cases of company acquisitions and establishes a union for securities companies. Investment Minister Sahar Nasser stressed the amended law aims at boosting the competitiveness of Egypt's economy and achieve financial inclusion. Well, let's now go live to Cairo for a further discussion on this. Yasser Hakim joins me now from there. So, Yasser, there are quite a number of advantages that have been enumerated by the minister in regards to this law, but how different is it from the previous one that existed?
Yes, it's giving more room for more companies to enter the market. First of all, it reduces the fees for securities, registration for securities, and would allow, therefore, small and medium enterprises to have the access for funding. It also protects the small stakeholders from any acquisitions. It also increases the penalties on companies or listing companies or traders who would perform any irregularities or have proved to be illegal in any of the transactions, and these penalties could even reach the prison sentence. There's also the room for opening new mechanisms, so you just don't have the stock exchange, the normal stock exchange we know, but now the door is open to establish a commodities exchange, for example, or futures exchange. So those are different elements and mechanisms for increasing financial funding and financing for different companies and different businessmen and stakeholders. So it's a wide range of different channels for people who want to enter the market, and gives them more options to introduce or to finance or to invest in Egypt.
And another notable amendment on this new law, Yasser, of course, is that touching on the sukuks, the bonds that comply to the Islamic laws. What's the difference between these two laws in regards to the sukuks?
Yes, the last one was in 2013, and it was very criticized because if you own a bond, it means, according to the sukuk, is that you own the institution itself. So this law or these sukuk were even allowed to be used for strategic elements of the society institution, to the extent that during that time, that was during the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood leadership, they even offered to sell areas at the pyramids and artifacts, which is something that has caused an uproar, because if you sell it through the sukuk, it means the buyer would own this piece of history. So right now it's different. There are elements that are not allowed to be joined in sukuk. At the same time, the sukuk, the bonds, you have to have a independent, specialized company that would regulate and manage the sukuk or the bonds on behalf of the owners. And also it will be having its own specialized committee that will monitor these sukuk or the entity that is owned by the bonds, through the bonds, as well as making sure that it does not mix the paperwork and the documents and the bills and the finances are not mixed with the normal securities and shares of a normal stock exchange. So they're making it independent than the normal stock exchange, not at the same regulations and not in the same way. You cannot have both in the same company. And this makes it easier to regulate and easier to finance, and also to make sure that you minimize any irregularities in using the sukuk bonds.
And yes, the law also establishes a union for security companies. What's the reaction from the traders on the Egyptian exchange?
Yes, this union is important in ensuring that these regulations are put in place. The reaction has been mixed. Obviously, the traders feel that the new law and the union would put more control on these traders and on the listed companies, and the penalties have been harsher, which makes them a bit afraid to move around. However, at the same time, they can see that now the opportunities are much, much higher. You've got easier access for foreign and small businesses, so this will increase the investors coming from Egypt or abroad, and this makes it even more attractive market. It will attract more clients for the traders. Also, it will help in maximizing the profit if you have different commodities market and foreign exchange market, and as well as a futures market. You have different tools, if you can call it, to help increase the revenue. So on the whole, it will be much more profitable to the traders and will bring more income to the market and to the economy.
All right, Yasser Hakim live for us in Cairo. Many thanks, Yasser.